Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. Let's make a start on chapter 5 and we'll continue from verse 16. Right now, let's do Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Giravardhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Giravardhari, Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana, Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Akadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathamitam Tam Sajim Sadhvetam Savadutam Krishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamschan He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Haripriya Vancha Kalpaturvehascha Kirpa Sindhubevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasdi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Bhangum Langyate Grim Yat Kripatam Vande Shri Gurudhi Taranam Ramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Hari Om Tassat Narayam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saswit Vyasam Tato Jamaduriyat Nashta Presha Abdureshu Nitam Bhagavata-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki. Hare Krishna. Okay, so thank you for joining. Let's continue. Right. Okay. Just swap these around. Okay. Can anybody see?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. Let's carry on. Vichkashano sehrati viditam vibhor ananta parasya nivartitha sukham parvartamanasya gune atmanas tat bhavan darshya cheshititam vibho. So Shanya, very expert, asya of him, arhati, deserves, vedutam, to understand, vibho of the Lord, ananta parasya of the unlimited, nivartitha retired from, sukham material happiness, parvatamanasya those who are attached to, gunhi by material qualities, anatmanaha devoid of knowledge and spiritual value, tatha therefore, pavan your goodness, darshya show the ways, chestititam activities, vibho of the Lord. So the Supreme Lord is unlimited, only a very expert personality retired from the activities of material happiness deserves to understand this knowledge of spiritual values. Therefore, those who are not so well situated due to material attachments should be shown the ways of transcendental realization by your goodness through descriptions of the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. So we were discussing last time how Vyasadeva, according to Narad Muni, that he has not done the right thing by writing the Vedas because he was enticing the general population into doing sense gratification and fruity activities. So it was not a good idea because that would cause bondage for them, further bondage to remain in this material world. And that was not the goal of doing what Vyasadeva had done, but that seemed like the conclusion or the result of that. Now, we also agreed that the Vedas were written, or Krishna allowed them to be written so that they could be compared. Because when the cream, so different between the milk and the cream, you can see the difference, that this is what, this is this, and look at this, that there has to be something to compare with. So the Vedas were written and then the cream was produced later on to show the quality or the difference between the two. And also, not everybody will be, no matter how hard you try, not everybody will be available to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. They'll be happy, although it's not recommended, but they'll be happy to elevate slowly from Vedas upwards to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and pure goodness. So theological science is a difficult subject, especially when it deals with the transcendental nature of God. It is not a subject matter to be understood by persons who are too much attached to material activities. Only the very expert who have almost retired from materialistic activities by culture of spiritual knowledge can be admitted to the study of this great science. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is clearly stated that out of many hundreds and thousands of men, only one person deserves to enter into transcendental realization. And out of many thousands of such transcendently realized persons, only a few can understand the theological science, specifically dealing with God as a person. So it's quite scary when you read something like this. Sri Vyasadeva is therefore advised by Narad to describe the science of God directly by relating his transcendental activities as a person. Vyasadeva is himself a personality expert in this science and he's unattached to material enjoyment. Therefore, he is the right person to describe it. And Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, is the right person to receive it. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the topmost theological science, and therefore it can react on the layman as medicinal doses. But it contains the transcendental activities of the Lord. There is no difference between the Lord and the literature. The literature is the factual literary incarnation of the Lord. So the layman can hear the narration of the activities of the Lord. Thereby they are unable to associate with the Lord and thus gradually become purified from material diseases. The expert devotees also can discover novel ways and means to convert the non-devotees in terms in particular time and circumstance. Devotion service is a dynamic activity, and the expert devotees can find out competent means to inject it into the dull brains of the materialistic population. Such transcendental activities of the devotees for the service of the Lord can bring a new order of life to the foolish society of materialistic men. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his subsequent followers exhibited expert dexterity in this connection. By following the same method, one can bring the materialistic man of this age of quarrel into order for peaceful life and transcendental realization. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam here is compared to medicine that is taken in dosage, and then you see the difference. You see the changes in you, and we definitely see the changes by reading Bhagavatam. We feel the changes. We think the changes. We are thinking changes as well. And let's see if you have anything here to add to that. So it says here, we have a lifetime mission to help people. Let them hear about Krishna. Praise the Lord by praising. So how do we praise the Lord? By praising Him, by thanking and expressing our gratitude to the Lord, and getting forgiveness, asking for forgiveness. And we can also ask for bhakti and help with our bhakti, like that as well. So Narad Muni is focusing, and just like Srila Prabhupada, they're focusing on praising Krishna. You can see in the purport, Krishna is being praised by Srila Prabhupada in every purport, in every scripture. And they thank you for appearing 5,000 years ago and showing your pastimes. If Krishna didn't come and show his pastimes, and 5,000 years in the scheme of things is not very long time ago. And because he came, it is pastimes in different ages that we are able to benefit. If we didn't show them, then we wouldn't have that facility. And that facility is available in this day of Brahma. It's not necessarily in this Kali Yuga. It's not necessarily available in any other Kali Yuga, as we talked about before. And other Kali Yugas. So when Lord Krishna comes in this Kali Yuga, Mahaprabhu comes. In the other Kali Yugas, if Lord Krishna doesn't come, then it's likely that Mahaprabhu doesn't come. It's likely we don't get the Mahamantra either. There's other mantras, but the problem is the other mantras will not take you back to Goloka Vrindavan. Only the Mahamantra can take you back to Goloka Vrindavan. The other mantras will only take you back to Vaikuntha. So, we are so blessed. We're so fortunate to have this facility that we are here in this day of Brahma, in this particular Kali Yuga. And as it been very long, 5,000 years and 500 years for Mahaprabhu, we are there in the right place at the right time. And, we have to take advantage of this. If we don't, then, nobody bigger murak than myself if I don't take advantage of this. Because you have to understand that everything we have, we are living in a world of lease. We are leasing everything. The family is leased, this body is leased, the house is leased. Everything is temporary. It's on a lease. When the lease runs out, there's no more family, there's no more house, there is no more body. Then you start a new lease of life with a new body, with a new family, with a new house, with a new identity. Is that all we want? We want to just keep, getting things on lease this body, lease this family, new wife, new children, new house, new identity. Do we want that? No, we want something permanent. A permanent solution is there, and the opportunity is there. So why not use it? Okay, so 17. Tyaktava swadharmam charanabhujam hare bhajan apakvotha patetato yadi yatra kvava padram abhut amushya kim ko varth apto bhajatam swadharmatha. So Tyaktava, having forsaken swadharmam, one's own occupational engagement, charan ambujam, the lotus feet, hare of Hari, bhajan in the course of devotional service, apakvaha, immature, atha, for the matter of, patet, falls down, tatha, from that place, yadi, if, yatra, whereupon, cover, what sort of, va, o, abdharam, unfavorable, abhut, shall happen, amushya, of him, kim, nothing, khava, artha, what interest, apatha, obtained, abhajatam, of the non-devotee, swadharmatha, being engaged in occupational service. So one who has forsaken his material occupation to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupation duties, does not gain anything. So Srila Prabhupada explains that as far as the duties of mankind are concerned, there are innumerable duties. Every man is duty bound not only to his parents, family members, society, country, humanity, or the living beings, the demigods, etc., but also to the great philosophers, poets, scientists, etc. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one can relinquish all such duties and surrender unto the service of the Lord. So, if one does so and becomes successful in the discharge of his devotional service unto the Lord, it is well and good. But it so happens sometimes that one surrenders himself unto the service of the Lord by some temporary sentiment, and in the long run, due to so many other reasons, he falls down from the path of service by undesirable association. So sentiment alone is not a good thing, because sentiment can change. And in the long run, due to so many reasons, he falls down the path of service by undesirable association. There are so many instances of this in the histories. Bharat Maharaj was obliged to take his birth as a stag because his sentiment changed from God. That he was so close to Bhava stage, and his sentiment went towards a deer. Was obliged to take his birth as a stag due to his intimate attachment to a stag. He thought of the stag when he died. As such, in the next birth, he became a stag, although he did not forget the incident of his previous birth. Similarly, Chitraketu also fell down to his offenses at the feet of Shiva. But in spite of all this, the stress is given here to surrendering onto the lotus feet of the Lord, even if there is a chance of falling down, because even though one falls down from the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. At least the Lord will not forget, even if we forget. Once engaged in devotional service of the Lord, one will continue the service in all circumstances. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is said that even a small quantity of devotional service can save one from the most dangerous position. There are many instances of such examples in history. Ajamil is one of them. Ajamil in his early life was a devotee, but in his youth fell down. Still he was saved by the Lord at the end. So shows that because he had done devotional service earlier, Krishna remembered his devotional service. And because he's called out his son's name Narayan, that gave Krishna the opportunity or the reason to save him. So I've got the pastimes written here, but I won't go through them because we just mentioned anyway. Bharat Maharaj, Chitraketu, and Jamil. So, what we need for protection then? We want protection our sentiment. We want to protect our bhakti. We need good association. We need well wishers, honest introspections. Don't lie to yourself. Introspect yourself. That are you sincere? Are you doing the right thing? Are you following your guru's instructions? If you're getting weak, the signs will be there, and you're not practicing nicely. So yeah, so you have to check yourself that if there's a weakness in terms of spirituality, why is that? Why is Maya pulling you? You have to check yourself and do something about it, because it can happen very easily. Senses are very strong, and it can, even one sense can bewilder you. Tasyeva atho priyate ta kovido na labyate yad brahmatam upari adha tallabyate dukkhavat anyatha sukham kalena savatra gabira ramhasa. So tasya, for that purpose, eva, only, heto, reason, paryateta, should endeavor, kovida, one who is philosophically inclined, na labhyate, is not obtained, yat what, bharmatam, wandering, upri adha, from top to bottom, that labhyate can be obtained, dukkhavat, like the miseries, anitha, as a result of previous work, sukham, sense enjoyment, kalena, in course of time, sarvatra, everywhere, gabira, subtle, ramsa, progress. So persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtained even by wandering from the topmost planet Brahmalok down to the lowest planet Patalok. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we don't desire them. So happiness and distress comes uninvited. Basically, that's the bottom line. Every man everywhere is trying to obtain the greatest amount of sense enjoyment by various endeavors. Some men are busy engaged in trade, industry, economic development, political supremacy, etc. And some of them are engaged in fruity activity or fruity work to become happy in the next life by attaining higher planets. It is said that on the moon, the inhabitants are fit for greater sense enjoyment by drinking somaras. And the Pittalok is obtained by good charitable work. So there are various programs for sense enjoyment. So there's these various planets of the demigods where there is plenty of sense enjoyment at a higher level than here, and better bodies to enjoy, either during this life or in the life after death. Some are trying to reach the moon or the planets by some mechanical arrangements, for they are very anxious to get into such planets without doing good work. But it is not to happen. By the law of Supreme, different places are meant for different grades of living beings according to the work they have performed. By good work only, as prescribed in the scriptures, can one obtain birth in a good family, opulence, good education, and good bodily features. So these are laws of God, and we sometimes, and the scientists, they try to dovetail the laws and invent their own systems to bypass these laws. We see also that even in this life, one obtains a good education, money by good work. Similarly, in our next birth, we get such desirable positions only by good work. Otherwise, it would not so happen that two persons born in the same place at the same time are seen differently placed according to previous work. You can have twins, born from the same mother, born at the same time, and yet one will be very rich, one not so rich, and they might have different complexions as well. So there, that proves that there is a reason behind it. But all such material positions are impermanent. The positions in the topmost Brahmalok and in the lowest Patal are also changeable according to our own work. The philosophically inclined person must not be tempted by such changeable positions. He should try to get into the permanent life of bliss and knowledge, where he will not force to come back again to the miserable material world, either in this or that planet. So this is the thing, whichever planet you go to, everything is on lease. It's all temporary. And then the lease runs out and you're back here on planet Earth or lower or whatever. We started a Brahmlok and we ended up on planet Earth. So you can see nothing is permanent. We want a place, which is a permanent home. Now we're just like moving from hotel to hotel, and it's not a good thing. You get fed up with it after a while. Miseries and mixed happiness are two features of material life, and they are obtained in Brahmlok and the locals also. They are obtained in the life of the demigods and also in the life of the dogs and hogs. They can have happiness and distress. The miseries and mixed happiness of all living beings are only of different degree and quality, but no one is free from the miseries, birth, death, old age, and disease, because that is the system in the material world. Similarly, everyone has his destined happiness also. No one can get more or less of these things simply by personal endeavors. Even if they are obtained, they can be lost again. One should not, therefore, waste time with these flimsy things. One should only endeavor to go back to Godhead. That should be the mission of everyone's life. So Srila Prabhupada is stressing that is the opportunity, don't waste it. Work on getting back home. So there's some things here. What we do in this life fructifies in the future lives. What we get in this life is a result of previous lives. So that's the system. We should only endeavor to go back to Godhead. Otherwise, we just, suffering or enjoying previous life and making plans for the next life. It just goes on and on. The list is endless. But we should be preparing for, we need to get off that track and join a different track altogether. So eternal truths, where you go, your fortune will go with you. So these are some of the eternal truths. Where you go, your fortune will go. It just doesn't matter which planet you go to, your fortune is going with you. You can go to any planet. Happiness and distress comes without invitation. You get these destined from birth. So you can change your planet, but your mind and your body, or maybe not so much body, but your mind will go with you and your karma will go with you. Destiny, improvement of economic conditions or other condition is already fixed up, it cannot be changed, but our position in reference to God can be changed by good association, by Vedic knowledge, by training, we can change our position. So the method, the solution is given here. And in that way, change or improve our destiny. So just going to read that again. So improvements of economic conditions or the condition is already fixed up, it cannot be changed. So we'll only get what we deserve. Sometimes we can over endeavor and we still get, or we lose everything. But our position in reference to God can be changed. That's the thing. This is one thing that can be changed. And how can it be changed? By good association, by Vedic knowledge, by training, we can change our position and in that way change or improve our destiny. So yes, so it seems like destiny is in our control, but we have to do something about it. Otherwise, destiny is very strong. It cannot be changed. So you still have to endeavor by bringing our spiritual life in the forefront, making spiritual practice be in the center endeavor so you can follow your spiritual practice comfortably. So spirituality is the key to all this. Text 19. Navajano jatu kathan chana vrajan mukunda svai anyavad anga samshritam sman mukundagri upaguhanam puna vihatum ichena raskrohu jana. Na, never, way, certainly, jana, a person, jatu, at any time, kathanchana, somehow or other, avrajit, does not undergo, mukanda sevi, the devotee of the Lord, anyavat, like others, ang, oh my dear, some sritim, material existence, smar, remembering, mukunda, angry, the lotus feet of the Lord, upagunam, embracing, punha, again, vihatum, willing to give up, ishet, desire, na, never, rasgraha, one who has relished the mellow, jana, person. My dear Vyas, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like other fruitic workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember the ecstasy again and again. So a devotee of the Lord automatically becomes uninterested in the enchantment of material existence because he is ras graha, or one who has tasted the sweetness of the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna. And plus, we know too much. We have too much information now to go back to our old ways. There are certainly many instances where devotees of the Lord have fallen down to uncongenial association, just like fruity workers who are always prone to degradation. But even though he falls down, a devotee is never to be considered the same as a fallen karmi. A karmi suffers the results of his own fruitic reactions, whereas a devotee is reformed by chastisement directed by Lord himself. The sufferings of an orphan and the sufferings of a beloved child of a king are not one and the same. This is interesting. An orphan is really poor because he has no one to take care of him. But a beloved son of a rich man, although he appears to be on the same level as the orphan, is always under the vigilance of his capable father. A devotee of the Lord, due to wrong association, sometimes imitates the fruity workers. The fruity workers want to lord it over the material world. Similarly, a neophyte devotee foolishly thinks of accumulating some material power in exchange for devotion service. Such foolish devotees are sometimes put into difficulty by the Lord himself. As a special favor, he may remove all material paraphernalia. By such action, the bewildered devotee is forsaken by all friends and relatives, and so he comes to his senses again by the mercy of the Lord and is set right to execute his devotion service. So sometimes, we have setbacks in devotion service, but if it was not in our control, then there's reason behind it, and we expect it to come out better from that and learn something and improve our service. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is also said that such fallen devotees are given a chance to take birth in a family of highly qualified Brahmins or in a rich mercantile family. So this is like if you gave up bhakti or you didn't make it back to Godhead, then you come back and either in a qualified Brahman family or in rich mercantile family. So you don't have to worry too much about earning a living. You have the facility, you have time and facility to do bhakti if you so desire. A devotee in such a position is not as fortunate as one who is chastised by the Lord and put into a position seemingly of helplessness. The devotee who becomes helpless by the will of the Lord is more fortunate than those who are born in good families. So, because there is danger, you might be born in a good family, but will you actually follow You might be born in a rich family, you want to enjoy the riches of your father. You don't necessarily want spirituality, although you have the time and facility. The fallen devotees born in a good family may forget the Lord's feet of the Lord because they are less fortunate. But the devotee who is put into a forlorn condition is more fortunate because he swiftly returns to the Lord's feet of the Lord, thinking himself helpless all around. So sometimes better to be helpless, and because then you're relying on the Lord for help. Pure devotional service is so spiritually irreligible that a devotee becomes automatically uninterested in material enjoyment. That is a sign of perfection in progressive devotional service. Okay. A pure devotee continuously remembers the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, and does not forget him even for a moment, not even exchange for all the opulence of the three worlds. So that's 19. So it says the taste at beginning is like seesaw, but later becomes steady. So the taste at the beginning, sometimes we feel the taste. We're in that situation. Sometimes we feel a lot of taste. Sometimes we don't feel any taste. But then, I guess when the anarthas are nearly removed, then you get to nishta, and that's when everything becomes steady. Your faith becomes steady. Your taste becomes steady, and then you'll move on to ruchi when you like really feel the taste of bhakti. So you get great taste at the beginning. We've all been through it, and you find new people, how enthusiastic they are, and they go overboard, and then suddenly something happens. They're not doing anything, or they stop chanting, or they leave. It happens like this. We've seen it so many times. The taste at the beginning is, you get great taste at the beginning, and then Krishna takes it away. This is the thing. First, he gives you the taste, and then now he says, now you have to work for it. He's giving a sample for a whole year at least. And I'll say, look, I'll give you enough free samples. Now you don't have to work for that taste. You have to do something. I can't just keep supplying you free samples all the time. You have to work for you want that? What I gave you, then work for it. And want you to work for it, take association. A devotee is always in the care of the Lord even when he falls down. When he repents, he regains his position. Never close the door on a devotee. When he's experienced such challenges, if you reject them, how will they get association? How will they get shelter? So it's duty to everyone. If somebody even falls down, you don't close the door on them. The door should always be open for them to come back when they're ready. So a devotee left the temple. So as an example given, a devotee left the temple for 10 years. So it can happen. By chance he came to temple with friends, although he was hesitant. So somebody must have known that he was a devotee, and they said, look, please take us, we want to go. So he just came with them casually. He felt the taste, the aroma, the deities. He became so ecstatic. He again rejoined the temple. So this is the power. So it's there, the taste is, once you've tasted it, the taste is there. Lord Ram always hoped that Ravan would come to his senses and surrender. But Ravan being Ravan, and plus that was a pastime as well. Glory of Krishna consciousness, one becomes hypnotized and never leaves or returns back to the material ways. And finally, text 20, you want to quickly finish this now? Idam hi vishvam bhagwan avitro yato jagatsthan nirod sambhava tadhi swayam veda pavam tathapite pradesha matra bhavtha pardarishtam or pardarishitam. Idam, this, he, all, Vishwam, cosmos, Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord, Eva, almost the same, Itraha, different from, Yatha, from whom, Jagat, the world, Sthan, exist, Nirod, annihilation, Sambhabha, creation, Tathi, all about, Swayam, personally, Veda, no, Bhavan, your good self, Tathapi, still they unto you, Pradesha matram, a synopsis only, bhavatha onto you, pradarishtam, explained. Okay, this is actually quite a longer. The Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, is Himself this cosmos, and still He is aloof from it. From Him only has this cosmic manifestation emanated. In Him it rests, and unto Him it enters after annihilation. Your good self knows all about this. I have given only a synopsis. So for a pure devotee, the conception of Mukunda, the Lord Sri Krishna, is both personal and impersonal. The impersonal cosmic situation is also Mukunda, because it is an emanation of the energy of Mukunda. For example, a tree is a complete unit, whereas the leaves and the branches of a tree are emanated parts and parcels of the tree. So everything is Krishna and Krishna's energies. And you cannot take the energetic away from the energy. For example, a tree, okay, we've done that. The leaves and branches of a tree are also the tree, but the tree itself is neither the leaves nor the branches. The Vedic version that the whole cosmic creation is nothing but Brahman means that since everything is emanating from the Supreme Brahman, nothing is apart from Him. Similarly, the parts and parts of the hands and legs are called the body, but the body as the whole unit is neither the hands nor the legs. The Lord is a transcendental form of eternity, cognition, and beauty, and thus the creation of the energy of the Lord appears to be partially eternal, full of knowledge and beautiful also. The captivated conditioned souls under the influence of the external energy Maya are therefore entrapped in the network of the material nature. They accept this as all in all, for they have no information of the Lord, who is the primeval cause, nor have they information that the parts and parcels of the body, being detached from the whole body, are no longer the same hand or leg as when attached to the body. So from separate from the body or separate from the Lord, we are worthless. It doesn't mean anything at all. It has to be thrown away. Similarly, a godless civilization detached from the transcendental loving service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is just like a detached hand or leg. It becomes rotten. Such parts and parcels may appear like hands and legs, but they have no efficiency. The devotee of the Lord, Srila Vyasadeva, knows this very well. He is further advised by Srila Narad to expand the idea so that the entrapped conditioned souls may take lessons from him to understand the Supreme Lord as the primeval cause. So he's telling him, please tell them, otherwise they'll be rotting on this immaterial world forever. According to the Vedic version, the Lord is naturally fully powerful, and thus his supreme energies are always perfect and identical with him. Both the spiritual and the material skies and the paraphernalia are emanations of the internal and external energy of the Lord. The external energy is comparatively inferior, whereas the internal part is superior. The spirit energy is living force, and therefore she is completely identical, but the external energy, being inert, is partially identical to the Lord. But both the energies are neither equal to nor greater than the Lord, who is the generator of all energies. Such energies are always under his control, because he is the energetic. Exactly as electrical energy, however powerful it may be, is always under the control of the engineer. The human being and all other living beings are products of his internal energies. Thus, the living being is also identical with the Lord, but is never equal or superior to this personality Godhead. The Lord and the living beings are all individual persons. With the help of the material energies, the living beings are also creating something, but none of their creations are equal or superior in the creations of the Lord. The human beings may create a small playful Sputnik and may throw it out into outer space, but that does not mean that he can create a planet like the Earth or Moon and float it in the air as the Lord does. Men with a poor fund of knowledge claim to be equal to the Lord. They are never equal to the Lord. This is never to be. And because we are temporary, we can only create temporary things. The human being, after attaining complete perfection, may achieve a large percentage of the qualities of the Lord, say up to 78%, but it is never possible to surpass the Lord or to become equal with him. In a diseased condition, the foolish beings claim to be one with the Lord and thus become misled by illusory energy. The misguided living beings, therefore, must accept the supremacy of the Lord and agree to render loving service to him. For this they have been created. Without this there cannot be any peace or tranquility in the world. Srila Vyasadeva is advised by Srila Narada to expand this idea in the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavad-Gita also the same idea explained, surrender fully unto the Lord's feet of the Lord. That is the only business of the perfect human being. Okay. Right, yes, I want to hear from yourselves, and I'm going to leave it here. Now with this, stop sharing, and we'd love to hear your views, your realizations. We'll start with Pundikaksh Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna everyone. That's it now below the sunset. There are so many this purports, not one to Prabhuji. And I really like that second text, like 17 today. Pratyasa dharmam charanam brujam hare bhajan papko tadotedi yatra kava padram abuddhakim koapta apto sharanam brujam hare. So holding the lotus feet of the Lord will protect you eternally, and nothing else. So, and this, as Prabhupada mentioned, the theology, the transcendental nature of God is very difficult subject matter. It can be understood only by those people who are actually situated in spiritually completely. Those who are materially affected, they cannot give it this knowledge. So we were reading Chaitanya Charitamrita for last like couple of days now, Madhavendra Puri's pastime. Prabhupada mentioned that in one of the purport papers says that instead of discussing with mundane people or arguing, better just give them Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That will gradually bring them to Krishna consciousness. I mean, otherwise, our own spirituality may get distracted as well if you start arguing or discussing with the people who are not spiritually situated. They have some knowledge, they have some logic, but they don't apply logic properly according to Shastra. So this knowledge can be understood only through Shastric evidences. And Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that the Vedas are little incarnation of the Lord Himself. So take the direct instructions from the Lord will give you proper knowledge and through spiritual masters and association of devotees. And devotional service is really dynamic activity. It is not a static, like we discuss about three kinds of devotees. And Kanishta Adhikari may think that he and the Lord, that's it, and nobody else in between. But devotional service is like not just the Lord, but all the devotees of the Lord. We have to associate with all the devotees and work together. And it's not a static activity where you're just sitting and worshipping the Lord at one place, but it is working and doing the service for the Lord and his devotees continuously. And just stating an example, like Mayapur Prabhu, even before finished 24 hours Kirtan this year, and in the last minute, he was sending updates of 24 hours Kirtan of this year. But in the last minute, he sent a message about next year's 24 hours Kirtan. What are those days falling on? Are they public holidays or not? That how dynamic is, and when you're really spiritually situated, your thoughts are around that only completely. Like Mahabhur Prabhu is showing, like, and for me, an ideal person for me. And we get reciprocation in a devotional service. As you know, like we are reading about Madhavendra Puri's pastime, and you read about Mirabai pastime. In so many instances, we have seen Lord actually reciprocate with us. And sorry, I may take a little bit more time, Prabhuji, today. And the biggest danger is like never forget Krishna, always remember Krishna. So the biggest danger is to forget Krishna because that will make you to fall down. And once you fall down this material world, you are conditional. You are affected by this, controlled completely by material nature, unless you surrender to Supreme Krishna. And then you will fall into the cycle of birth and death, and never be able to come out of three mysteries, which is Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. So here everything is conditional. Nothing is clear what is good, what is correct. We end up doing an activity by which we create another activity for which we need to come again. So holding the lotus feet of the Lord will only protect us from this danger of falling into the material world again. I like this example of Prabhupada where he mentioned about poor son and the king's son. Though they are affected, but there is a slight difference because poor son is not protected, whereas king's son is protected by the king himself. So in a devotional service, it looks outwardly that you are affected, but you are protected by the Lord Himself. And the last purport, where it is mentioned about living entities, though they are part of internal energy, they are not equal to the Lord. So as we read 10 offenses, considering Brahma or Lord Shiva to be equal or to be independent of Lord Vishnu. So though we are part and parcels of the Lord, but we are not equal to the Lord, but we are His own part and parcels. That's what my understanding is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, and we are experiencing the Lord through His energies. We don't have that energy. We don't have energy to get up sometimes in the morning, and Krishna is energies everywhere. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Kiran Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. few verses, so much wisdom, so much depth in there. Even Vedvyas was asked by Narad Muni, revisit what you've written, because whilst what you've written is fine, it only adds to sense gratification. We need to be reminded, and Narad Muni tells Vedvyas, reword it, reiterate the glorification of the Lord. Ultimately, that's the only journey that's left for us, because everything else is a mundane reflection of the material world. It's all about sense gratification, and we have to move away from the sense gratification to the transformation of our hearts, because that journey is the topmost journey that we can be a part of. And it clearly indicates that this is not the realm of a few. Sorry, this is the realm of a few. Many people have been given the opportunity, but only a few enter the gates of wisdom, which has been clearly identified by the sages. Mahaprabhu, Krishna, you name it. The sages have distilled such glorious Vedic literature that we've been given Schopenhauer every day, where we can't realize how lucky we are that we've been given the finished article, yet we still yearn for little bits of sense gratification. Just relish this beautiful, absolute nectar that is given to us in such a beautiful way. It requires that maturity, but you can see that those who come to water at this watering hole are those with an affinity and a desire that to have not the same kind of birth, from one birth to another, from one body to another, from one hotel to another, from one country to another, but to have this eternal realization that we can reside with divinity. He's waiting for us, but we are wandering on this path. Do I want it? Do I not want it? What more do we need? You know, everything is temporary. Your wife is temporary. My wife is temporary. My bank balance is temporary. My car is temporary. This little set of cells are temporary. This blood and this oxygen will stop flowing at some point. And so just realize that this is only a mundane opportunity, a short opportunity, but in the flickering of an eye, a flickering of a breath, that this can all go. So let's grab it with both hands, because it can go at any moment. And so the Lord is very merciful. He has given us opportunities time and time and time again. And if we don't make it, it's okay. It's a journey. You know, we'll be placed somewhere where we can finish the rest of the journey. And you know that this is a work in progress. This is a lifelong learning, and wisdom that is imparted from each other and from the teachers, the masters, is so eternal that we can only have eternal grace at the end. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, and we were reading a few verses before this that there's crows and there's swans, and we don't want to be a crow. We want to be a swan, because a swan then never sits on garbage, whereas a crow loves to sit on garbage. We can become swans by good association, by transcendental knowledge, by remembering Krishna. Then we will never go back to sitting on garbage. So very important to introspect that, are we crows or are we swans? One will remain a swan. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Free Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then Pranam. Yes, very nice verses. And what I'm thinking is, like, we are living in godless society, and we can see the result. So much misery. Everybody's after material happiness, sense enjoyment, and we can see nobody is happy, and only the true happiness is at the lotus feet of the Lord, and that is the main purpose of life. We need to go back to Godhead to get out of this cycle of birth and death. Happiness and distress, they come, happiness comes and distress comes because we don't ask for any distress, it comes. So we don't have to really pray for happiness either, because it will just come like day and night. So our true purpose in life is to surrender to the Lord and engage in devotional service. Although we know all this, but we are still distracted, and it is still hard because Maya is so strong, and we still, we still want to enjoy a little bit. But yeah, we have to remember that association and the scriptures. We are very fortunate. Srila Prabhupada has given us all this knowledge. So we have to read, and devotees like yourself, you're helping us, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So we have to, pay our gratitude to Krishna, to the devotees like yourself. So, I can't imagine, my life without all this. So very fortunate to have found Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mother. Yeah, we are very fortunate. This is the thing, and we realize how fortunate we are by studying scriptures. That something that we didn't realize before. Now we realize that we missed out so much earlier, and now we're very fortunate that Krishna has allowed us the opportunity to be here. Thank you, Mataji. Radharani?
Hare Krishna, everyone. What stood out for me today is that we all know, but we all live in denial that what we create is temporary. So I was thinking that is the reason our work never gets done, because whatever we create is temporary. Whatever job we do, even it's your daily chores, you think that my work never gets done. Why? Because it's temporary. So yes, we have to serve the one which is omnipotent, omniscient, and who is always there, and who is looking after us, who is giving us everything which we need to do in life, whether it's outward life, the material side, or our spiritual life, our real life. So this is the thing. We fail to connect to the permanent and understand the impermanence of this life, and that is the root cause of our unhappiness. So yeah, so my prayer to Krishna is that Krishna, please keep our minds and our intelligence open to this fact 24/7, so that we can serve you in whichever little way we are capable of. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So wonderful. Thank you all so much. And we'll catch up on Friday and discuss more. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Oh, Premanande, Hari Hari.
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.